Hello and welcome to Across Louisiana. My name is Steve Sawyer, your host for the show. We have got an action-packed show lined up today, so I have got to go through the opening pretty quick. We have Lisa Conescu, who is the CEO for Jefferson Dollars for Scholars. Mandi Cambre is with the Greater New Orleans Foundation, and she's going to be talking about an important program coming up, Give NOLA Day. Stasha Rhodes is the Advocacy Director, the Director of Governmental Affairs for the American Heart Association, and we're so proud to have Jefferson Parish President John Young in the studio today. He's going to be talking about the upcoming May 3rd vote on millage and how that's important to our citizens and why we need to vote on that. Again, we've got a great show lined up for you. Steve Sawyer, stay with us. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Across Louisiana. We greatly appreciate being a part of the show today. We have got a great show lined up for you, and one of our closest friends and one of our biggest supporters, Lisa Conescu. Lisa is the CEO of Jefferson Dollars for Scholars, and Cox is a founding partner of Dollars for Scholars, and I don't think of a better way that we could spend our money with what the organization Jefferson Dollars for Scholars does. You guys just do an incredible job. Lisa, real quick, talk about the mission of the organization.
Our mission is to expand access to educational opportunities for Jefferson Parish Public School students. So we use the broad sense of opportunities, and we're just trying to do a lot of different things and create a lot of different programs to benefit public school families and students.
And I wanted to ask you, because I was reading this, a surprise question. There is actually a founder of Jefferson Dollars for Scholars. He's 93 years old, and I'll let you tell the story.
He's the founder of National Dollars for Scholars. His name is Dr. Irving Fradkin, and he is 93 years old, and we are doing a documentary on him called The Power of a Dollar. And that's our little piggy bank. It's going to be the symbol of the power of the dollar. And he founded this organization when he ran for school board in 1958 and lost the election. So his campaign promise was that if everyone in the community gave $1, then the young people of Fall River could go to college.
Wow,
so when
that's
he
incredible.
lost the election, he started the organization anyway.
Wow.
So he's a remarkable man. He is still working on the program. He is still expanding the program to this day.
And the documentary will be aired?
Well, it'll have a red carpet promotion, and it'll have it'll be aired in literary festivals and on television stations. Maybe you'll help us with it, but it's going to be his story, and he's a very exciting, free-thinking visionary, and he was an optometrist, so we love knowing that he was a visionary, and poignantly he's losing his eyesight. So, but he's still a visionary. He's just remarkable.
Well, let's talk about in the time we've got left.
Yes.
One quick thing, your website is www.jeffersondollarsforscholars.org. All information about the organization can be found.
Jefferson.Dollars for Scholars.
We'll put that on the screen.
Good.
But on May the 6th...
May the 6th is a citywide day of philanthropy called Give NOLA. And Jefferson Dollars for Scholars is, of course, participating in it because this is a citywide effort modeled after other cities that have done this really successfully. And we're going to ask everyone who knows our good work to go online at Give NOLA and donate, and then you select Jefferson Dollars for Scholars and make a donation. So it's a 24-hour, it's kind of like speed philanthropy, and donate to us. There are a lot of organizations, a lot of good organizations, and we just hope our groups will select us.
Well, let me ask you this. This may be an unfair question. If you go online that day, can you give to more than one?
Sure.
Okay, so you're not just limited to one organization.
No. You can give to as many as you want, but we'd like to be one of the ones you give to.
And the great thing about Dollars for Scholars is, I mean, you guys do provide a lot of scholarships, but you need money in order to do that.
We need money to give it to the students. I mean, my favorite part is giving the money to the students, and that's what we have to raise money for.
Yeah, and the enrichment programs you guys do are just incredible.
The enrichment programs are pretty unique to our chapter, and with the vision to encouraging learning starting in kindergarten.
Yeah.
So kindergarten students get scholarships.
Well, Lisa, I've got to wrap it up. But again, I
Okay.
mean, just you guys do such a great job. We're so proud to be a part of the organization.
Thanks,
I want to
Steve.
thank you for coming in, taking time to talk about Dollars for Scholars, and I love the story you shared with the founder. Stay with us.
You'll hear more.
Yeah, stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Across Louisiana. Got a great program we're getting ready to talk about with Mandi Cambre. Mandi is with Greater New Orleans Foundation, and this is an inaugural event that's going to be taking place in New Orleans, a very exciting program for nonprofits. Give NOLA Day.
Yes.
Yeah, Mandi, that is awesome. Talk about this. It's the first time that this has ever been done in New Orleans.
Yes.
So a lot of work's gone into this.
Absolutely. It is our first Giving Day. We are modeling it after other cities, but it's the first one of its kind in the Greater New Orleans area. And it covers not only New Orleans, but our 13 parish region at the Greater New Orleans Foundation.
Oh, that's good to point out. So it's not just Metro New Orleans, it's other parishes that are involved in that.
All 13 parishes.
So let me just ask this. The website is www.givenola.org. That will have all of the information in the parishes that are involved in that?
Yes. If you go to givenola.org today, there's a lot of information about what Give NOLA Day is, all of the nonprofits that are involved, all of the parishes, and how a donor can give.
So talk about how, just take us through the steps of how it'll work.
Sure. So if you're a donor on May 6th, you have 24 hours from 12 a.m. to 11:59 p.m. on Tuesday, May 6th, to make a donation to a nonprofit, and we hope nonprofits. If you go to givenola.org, you can either give to the nonprofit of your choice by going to the leaderboard and clicking on that nonprofit and giving a gift. You can search for the nonprofit of your choice. Or if you just hear about Give NOLA Day and you want to find out a little bit more about the nonprofits involved and want to give to someone, you can search by a number of different ways. You can search by one of the 13 parishes that are involved. You can search by their type of organization. So say you want to give to an arts and culture organization, you could click on arts and culture and see every nonprofit signed up that it's identified as an arts and culture organization.
Would it give information on that organization, what they do and so forth?
It would. Those organizations have created a Give NOLA profile with their mission statement, their service area, their logo, and just a little bit of information about them to educate donors.
And the key point is you can give more than once.
Yes.
In 24 hours, you can give as much as you want. You can give to more than one organization. If, let's just say that I'm kind of stuck on who I want to give to, could I just give to the Greater New Orleans Foundation?
We are accepting donations that day, but this day is really about the nonprofits in the area, and we've hoped that we've set up enough ways that donors can search for an organization that they'll find someone that they want to donate to.
Okay.
And we've also, a big part of this day is to say that anyone can be a philanthropist, so the minimum giving amount is $10. So we're really encouraging everyone to get involved, to be a donor, and to be a part of this day.
So let's say I was given, we just had Lisa on Dollars for Scholars. Let's say if I was given Dollars for Scholars, I mean, would I give via credit card, or let's say that I wanted to give to Dollars for Scholars and I wanted to give to 10 organizations. Is it as easy as just clicking those 10 organizations and then just putting?
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
You don't even have to do that. It's very, very simple. If you went to Jefferson Dollars for Scholars, you could donate your $10 to them, and then on that same page, you'll be able to just make multiple gifts at that time. Right. So it's very, very simple
easy
for a donor to give. It is credit cards only.
Okay, that was my next question.
Yes, online only, credit cards only.
If you want to give cash, you can give to my organization.
Absolutely.
Oh, Mandi, that's awesome. So where else has this been tried that has a success behind it? You said it's been tried in other cities.
It has. It's been tried in numerous other cities. We've seen Omaha, we've seen Seattle, Dallas, Pittsburgh. One that we really have been interested in lately is Lincoln, Nebraska just had their first Giving Day last year. And they raised $1.3 million, and they only had 187 nonprofits involved. We have 320.
320 nonprofits,
yes, which exceeded our goal. We had a goal of 250 nonprofits sign up, and we have 320 now.
Well, man, this is awesome, and I mean, Greater New Orleans Foundation is just such a wonderful organization. You guys manage our Cox Charities for us and just do an incredible job. So, what a great idea. I'd love to have you come back after the May 6th date and talk about the program, how it went, and hopefully you'll be able to share with us that it was successful enough that you'll have a second annual. I mean, I love it when you never know till you try.
Right.
So,
well, we will be having a second one at least for the next 5 years. We'll be having a Give NOLA Day, and our next one will be May 7th, 2015.
Okay, great. Mandy, thank you so much for being here. Stay with us. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Across Louisiana. Very happy to have a first-time guest on the show today, Ms. Stasha Rhodes. Stasha is the Director of Government Relations for the American Heart Association. Thank you so much for taking time.
Thanks for having me.
Stasha, appreciate it. Talk a little bit about, we've had guests on for the American Heart Association before. Wonderful organization. We love everything about what you guys do, but for our first-time viewers, talk a little bit about the mission of the American Heart Association, because it's such a global organization.
Sure, that's right. So our mission is to build healthier lives free of cardiovascular disease and stroke, plain and simple. The Advocacy Department, which is the department that I'm a part of, we work solely to have public policies that help prevent heart disease and help people who live with heart disease live a better and healthier life.
Okay, so, I mean, I haven't followed this, but there's a House bill.
House Bill 542.
542.
That's right.
And you guys are working on that right now, and that would do.
So House Bill 542, we're supporting it. It's sponsored by Representative Tom Wilmot of Kenner. It will ensure that every high school student gets an opportunity to practice hands-on CPR before they graduate. It's important because over 400,000 people suffer from sudden cardiac arrest outside of a hospital. So they suffer from cardiac arrest away from EMTs and around regular people like you and I. So it's a great way to produce more lifesavers in the community and have ready CPR bystanders that can administer the CPR.
So let me ask you this. With the House bill right now, I hope I can ask you this the right way. Why the need for the House bill? What's done right now that you're trying to improve on or build on?
So that's a good question. Existing curriculum right now requires students to learn about it. It's cognitive, but it doesn't necessarily ensure that they get a chance to actually practice the compressions. House Bill 542 does that. It makes sure that before they graduate, they get a chance to actually practice CPR compressions so that when faced with a medical emergency, they know how hard to press, how quickly to press.
I've got you.
That's right.
Okay, so as opposed to just sort of reading about it and say, I've done the requirements and
they
that's
get a chance to be ready for it. That's right.
But it'll be a law that you have to teach
before you graduate.
Before you graduate, you have to go through that. So as this show airs, we know the good news is that it did pass.
Overwhelmingly.
97-0. So
in the House of Representatives, that's right.
Great interest there. Congratulations on that. What is the next step?
So the next step, it is going to go to the Louisiana State Senate. Has a Senate Education Committee first, and then the State Senate floor. So wish us luck.
And then if it passes the Senate, it becomes state law?
After Governor Bobby Jindal signs it, it becomes state law.
And so would it be enacted in this school year? Or?
That's a good question. This school year, in the fall, the coming fall year.
All right, so graduating folks right now would have to adhere to what the policy says.
That's right.
That's right. You know, it's kind of sad that you say you have to pass a law so people understand how to do that. But I guess if you have to, I mean, you got to do what's out there. It's incredible. Right. Stasha, congratulations. I mean, that's great that you got it 97-0 through the House. Let's hope the Senate does the same thing, because then they'll look at you and go, "Great job." Thank you so much for being a part of the show. Me. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll have Jefferson Parish President John Young on the show. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Across Louisiana. Again, I want to thank you so much for taking time to be a part of the show. Today, we've saved the best for last, and we're very honored to have Jefferson Parish President John Young in the studio today. John, thank you so much for taking time. I know you drove all the way from Baton Rouge just to be on this show, so we appreciate that.
Just to be with you, Steve, and be on this show. We appreciate it.
Always an honor, always a pleasure.
Same here.
I wanted to thank you for coming in because there is a vote coming up on May the 3rd, and May the 3rd is there's some runoff elections that have to be taken care of. But we asked you to come on the show because there's a millage vote that's going to be taken in Jefferson Parish. And I think it's a great opportunity to talk about, what a millage is, what the vote's about and everything. Because from what I've been reading, it's a little different in how it works in Jefferson Parish depending on where you live.
Correct.
So I just want to give you the chance to come in and just talk about that and explain it to our viewers, and so they can understand better what they're voting for.
And I appreciate that opportunity. What we've been doing, Steve, is there is a millage renewal. This is not a new tax. This is a renewal of existing taxes to provide for vital services. And we have it every 10 years. In Jefferson Parish, we renew for 10 years. So at the end of those 10 years, we have to go back out to the voters for renewing those taxes. Our budget in Jefferson Parish is dedicated, so obviously we have some dedicated renewals. And it is different where you live in Jefferson Parish because, Jefferson Parish is the second most populous parish in the state, but also we have 6 municipalities within Jefferson Parish. So depending on where you live in Jefferson Parish, you'll either see one issue on the ballot, one renewal, or 3. So for instance, if you live in unincorporated Jefferson Parish or the town of Jean Lafitte, we'll have a road lighting renewal. That's to renew road lighting, street lights. Obviously, that's important for safety of driving at night and for well-lit neighborhoods, which is a crime deterrent program as well. Then the second one you'll see if you live in unincorporated Jefferson and the town of Jean Lafitte, because the town of Jean Lafitte's different from the other municipalities, you will see what they call a special services renewal. And that's actually 4 different things. It's senior services, all of our senior centers, all of our Meals on Wheels program is funded through this millage. We have 6 senior centers on the East Bank and the West Bank, so that's vital senior services. Then we have economic development millage, which helps to fund JEDCO in part, but also provides tax incentives that we use to retain and attract new businesses and industry to Jefferson Parish. One example I like to give, for instance, when I was running for parish president in 2010, we got word that People's Health, which is about a 600 employee strong corporation, was looking to move out of Jefferson Parish into New Orleans. So I went and met with them together with JEDCO. We provided an incentive program. We kept them here, and now they're close to 1,000 employees. And what I like to say is, I'm against new taxes, but I certainly love new taxpayers.
Absolutely.
The other thing that the economic development millage does is we have matched tax incentive for the film industry. And the film industry has really grown not only just in Jefferson Parish, but in the state of Louisiana. So part of that economic development millage goes to tax incentives for film productions that spend money here in Jefferson Parish. And over the years, we've spent $2 million in those incentives and gotten $88 million back. So that's a great return on our investment. And I want to point out that actually Louisiana is now the #1 location in the United States for film production. We have surpassed New York and California. In fact, in a recent trade journal, they quoted the mayor of Los Angeles. He's trying to put together a tax incentive to keep the film production companies from leaving and keep them in LA and in Hollywood. So we've done well there. The other is criminal justice. A lot of people don't realize that Jefferson Parish local government is responsible for funding portions of the DA's office, juvenile court system, justices of the peace. So we have to have that criminal justice millage to pay for those vital services. And everyone knows how important it is to stay proactive in terms of crime abatement programs. And then finally, we have culture and parks. For all our cultural events in parks, we have a millage that's dedicated to that in terms of quality of life. So that's the second one. Now, the third one that you'll see on the ballot, and this is, again, the third one if you live in unincorporated Jefferson Parish, and the only one if you live in a municipality such as Kenner or Harahan, will be judicial and culture. Another funding source, again, a renewal, not a new tax, to fund all these judicial services and these cultural events, and also to fund, by the way, the operation of the Jefferson Performing Arts Center, which was built with state money, and we know all the problems we've had with that, but that's scheduled to be open this October, no later than October, and this millage was passed 10 years ago, and it's going to be renewed so that we can provide the necessary operating costs to operate that building once it's open.
So you won't see this tax come up again until 2024. It's
correct,
every
correct.
10 years.
And it was last renewed in 2004, so every 10 years. We don't do a 50-year tax renewal like some other jurisdictions may do. So every 10 years, this comes before the voters.
And a key thing to point out again, this is not an increase.
Not an increase.
This
is a renewal of an existing millage for existing vital services.
So let me ask, let's say I live in Gretna.
Correct.
And I've got nothing on the ballot, no elections, no runoffs. It's still critical for me
to get out
and vote.
And important is, as of Saturday, the 19th of April, that's when early voting starts. And a lot of people vote early now. So you have early voting from the 19th of Saturday, this Saturday, till the 26th, the following Saturday, with the exception of the 20th, which is Easter, so no voting on Easter. And then the actual election's May 3rd. So in Gretna, for instance, and that's a good example to point out, in Gretna, the only thing on the ballot will be that one item,
right.
judicial and culture. So it's obviously important. And, you know, and Thomas Jefferson, our third president, after whom this parish is named, once said, among many famous quotes, he said, "The greatest threat to democracy is an uninformed public." So we're out there going to civic associations, going to business groups, going to all the media groups, the Times-Picayune, the Morning Advocate, Gambit, Louisiana Weekly, City Business, and making presentations. And also, I'd like to point out on this show that we also did a 10-minute video that we produced in-house that you can go to our website, www.jeffparish.net.
Okay.
So www.jeffparish.net, and you can click on and see a 10-minute video that explains all this.
Oh, that's great information.
The other thing, you can go on Cox Channel 6 and we stream it live.
Oh, good.
So
but the thing I want to point out is, and again, I'm not picking on Gretna,
Sure.
but if I live in Gretna,
Sure.
and I've really got, well, you know what, we've got no elections or anything, I still need to get out and vote for this.
Absolutely.
Because the worst case scenario is if this doesn't pass.
If this doesn't pass, and we can't pay for those vital services. And you know, Jefferson Parish's budget is dedicated, so all this is dedicated to those services. So again, just to reiterate, senior services, if we don't have that millage, that means we don't have the money to run our senior centers. We don't have the money to provide those necessary meals in the Meals on Wheels program.
Right.
And we don't have enough money to leverage, or any money for that matter, to leverage with Jefferson Council on Aging. So vital services will suffer.
Well, and it's critical, again, a lot of times when you think about in voting, you're thinking about, well, this is an election.
Right, right.
There's other things than elections to vote on.
Correct.
And you want to make sure, and the good news here is I don't think there's really anybody that's come out against
No,
this right
no,
now. So
no. And
everybody's supporting it.
correct. In a mill, you know, when you say millages and what is a mill, just to give you an idea, with the homestead exemption, you know, take a $100,000 home, so you have a $75,000 homestead exemption. One mill is $2.50 per year. Wow. $2.50
I didn't
per year.
realize that.
Now, the other thing we're doing, in addition to all the other education we're doing in informing the public, everybody who gets a water bill gets a handwritten insert that goes through all this, explains it, and then we're going to send out postcards, and then I'm doing shows like this and talking on the airwaves and on the radio about it to remind people, because again, we are competing against the first, when the actual election days, one of Jazz Fest days.
Oh,
so,
that's true.
Now,
That's true.
I do want to point one other thing out, just not to make it any more confusing, but Grand Isle also has 2 items on the ballot, but you'll only see them in Grand Isle. But for those residents of Grand Isle who are looking at this, they'll see 2 items on their ballot, which is renewal for their road lighting, just the road lighting in Grand Isle. So just Grand Isle voters will vote for that, and ambulance service district. But again, it's just renewals.
Okay. Well, they're telling me we're about 2 seconds away from this being the John Young Show. I greatly appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, Steve. We
do think
appreciate that service.
I just think it's important for
Absolutely.
voters to know about this. Again, the website is www.jeffparish.net. There's a 10-minute video that explains all this. It's not complicated. The most important thing is, as a citizen of this parish, of this country, get out and vote. This is services that we need, so unless we get out and vote, we don't have the opportunity to take care of this. So John, again, thank you for being on this show.
Right.
You've been watching Across Louisiana. My name is Steve Sawyer. Thank you so much for being with us, and we'll see you next time.